Shalom and good day all, this is Tehillim29 back again for another DC review, and in this DC review I'll be covering Absolute Power Ground Zero. Next is also The Flash issue 10 by the terrible writer Simon Spurrier, who should not be at all on this bloody run. And last but not least, we have Joshua Williamson on, last but not least, Superman issue 15. I'll now get things organized for the first one that will be reviewed. So starting off with Absolute Power Ground Zero, in relation to the Absolute Power run. First things first, does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to something that is happening inside with the story? Not really at all. To which I give the cover a 6 out of 10. This has 3 stories in it, so what I'll be doing is rating all stories as one story. So the next thing I'll be moving into is having a look around the beginning, middle and end, so I'll make sure that we get to see some art from the first story, the second story and also the third story, as these are done in sort of like stages as to how Amanda Waller is seeking to overthrow the superheroes in this particular event. So moving into the first thing, it's nice to see Jay Nakamura being treated like the villain he really is. So big thanks, Amanda Waller. And yes, we also learned that his mother gets killed in the process. Now, who's not to say that's going to make a villain out of him? I say go full villain with him, and I mean absolute full villain with him, not hero. Of course, we see him thrown into a jail afterwards, and of course, Dreamer herself, which has gone full villain too, in helping Amanda Waller out. Personally, kill off Dreamer and kill off Jay Nakamura. It'll make the DC universe so much better. Then we start to move into the next one, which we have the character of Johnny Starr, and we learned that this also has a comic book reference connection as well, which will be brought up later on. Of course, we have the work of Failsafe and Failsafe returning. And finally, last but not least, moving to the area of Stage 3. Now, all of these stories are written by separate people. And last but not least, we have the return of Amanda Waller and the Brainiac Queen. And we also find out that she, I guess, fell in love with a child alien of sorts, to which she's making out Superman to be the villain of the time, wanting to kill her off and destroy her. That's not Superman's character, I'm afraid to say. So for the internal art, I give a 7 out of 10 amongst all 3 of the stories. Next is the area of the story itself. Considering this did actually have some comic references, I'm going to point them out. First, we have the Suicide Squad Dream Team, which was made reference to, and also the Batman Urban Legends as well, in relation to one of the other stories that was in there, in relation to one of the characters. Next is the area of time. So in this, we actually end up getting all of these criteria met in relation to the rating. So we have laser being used, and we also have years 1 all the way up to 20 in relation to someone in connection to her past. In the, I guess, the DC Infinite Frontier universe, it's the only other way to put it. Next is the location, to which we have the USS Callahan, I think it is, which is a brig. And we also have Gamora, and also Deep Space with Brainiac and that. Next, we have the cast of characters such as Amanda Waller, Terima J. Nakamura. Someone killed this bastard off. I don't care if the character's gay or not, but he's just not best suited for John. He was very deceptive at the beginning. Let's turn this character into full villain, to which he belongs. Next, we have the character of John Starr. We also had Peacemaker and one more other character. For the overall story, I gave it a 6.5 out of 10. Now it's time to move into the Flash issue 10. So as we jump into the Flash issue 10, does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to something that is happening inside of the story? Sure enough it does, to which I give it a 7.5 out of 10, because we do actually get to see this particular thing that is chasing the Flash. And we also learned who is actually running the particular robot. Now it's time to move into the area of the internal art, as we have a look around the beginning, middle and end, and also what's happening story-wise with the characters. So as the story begins, we have the character of the Flash. It's actually not pointed out as to which Flash this is. I don't know if it's Wally. I don't know if it's Barry. Let me say something, Simon Spurrier. Yo fucked up. You screwed up. Right? You should let us know which Flash this is. You're not telling us. And you screwed up. To which this is going to affect the rating of this particular story. So let's now move into the area of the middle. As we start to move into the area of the middle, we learn that Green Arrow has a somewhat Batman-like robot, which he is using to apprehend this Flash. Once again, we still don't know which Flash this is. Is it Barry? Is it... Who is it? I need to know. We do get to see the other Flash family members, but not all of them. And last but not least, towards the end. So, for the internal art, I gave it a 7 out of 10. Now it's time to move in relation to the area of the story. Considering how far we are, did we get any comic references? Sure enough we did, to Green Arrow issue 13, which is actually meant to be an upcoming issue, but I don't know why they couldn't have maybe mentioned the previous issue, as it would have made more sense to what was happening here. Next is the area of time, to which wasn't brought up in the story. The location, no idea where the hell this is taking place. It usually helps to let the audience know where things are taking place. Or has Simon Spurrier lost IQ whilst working at DC Comics? Just saying. And I mean a lot of IQ. Next is the cast of characters. We have the Flash, but we don't know which one it is. Is it Barry Allen? Is it Wally West? Who the hell is it? Next we have Amanda Waller, Green Arrow. Of course we have the character of Wade West, Impulse, Max Mercury, and Jay Garrick. For the overall story rating for this, I give a 5.5 out of 10. Now, last but not least, now it's time to move into Superman issue 15. So as we move into Superman issue 15, does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to something that is happening inside of the story? In some essence it does, to which I give a 7 out of 10. Now it's time to move into the area of the internal art, as we have a look around the beginning, middle, and of course the end. And also what is happening story-wise with the characters. So as the story begins, we catch up with Superman and many of the Superman family members, starting to go up against Brainiac, and I guess the Brainiac horde of sorts, with the help of Lobo. As we draw towards the middle of the story, we learn that you don't mess with Superman or his family. It's a pity that same essence couldn't have been shown around, I don't know, a certain Bendis run. You get the gist. And don't forget, Joshua Williamson feels slightly inspired from Brian Michael Bendis too. And last but not least, towards the end, as Superman reunites with Lois, and of course, Lex Luthor and Lena Luthor are free from the clutches of Brainiac. For the internal art, I give it a 7 out of 10, as I do feel it picked up a bit. Next is the area of the story. Now, considering how far we are, did we get any comic references? No, we didn't. Did we get any indication of time as to when some of these events are taking place time-wise? No, we didn't. Next is the location. Did we get locations? Surprisingly, we did get locations. Really good. So we had the Brainiac ship in deep space. Still could have put a time there to know when these events are taking place. And last but not least, we have Metropolis, so returning back home. Cast of characters consisting of Lena and Lex Luthor, Clark Kent Superman, Lois Lane, Brainiac, of course we had Lobo, of course the members of the Superman family that were there, ones I managed to make out were Supergirl and Connor Kent. For the overall story rating, I give it a 7 out of 10. Until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day.